Good morning, afternoon, or evening. How y'all doing today? Welcome back to Mr. Morrow's Intensive Math class. Today we're going to continue with percent applications. And today we're going to learn how to find the percent. We've already learned how to find the part. Okay. Today we're going to learn how to find the percent. And the third application is finding the whole. Please, let's just go over some deciphering skills. Okay. When they tell you or you read what percent, we're talking about x over 100. Because a percent is a value out of 100. If I tell you 20% of 30 is what number, I can turn 20% into 20 over 100, or you could turn it into 0.2. Either way. But what percent means x over 100. The word of means multiply, times. And I have the whole, which I represent with a W. Is means equal. And then part we represent with the letter P. There are two ways to solve percent problems. Okay, two methods, two ways. You have the equation method, you have the proportion method. It really depends on you, what you want to use. When we're talking about the equation method, what percent, that's x percent, what percent of means times, the whole, is means equals the part. So x percent, what percent, that's x over 100. Of times the whole W equals is. It means is means equal, sorry. And then part is P. The proportion method. What percent of a whole is a part? Well, n over 100, you place the percent. You get rid of the percent sign. You don't have to move the decimal. You just simply put the percent value over 100. Equals is, which relates to the part, over of, which relates to the whole. It really doesn't matter to me which way you use, but choose one way. We already said this in the last lesson. I'm going to say it in this lesson. I'm going to say it in the next lesson. Choose one way and really become a master of it. Okay? So, let's look at the equation method. Okay? If we're talking about the equation method, we're going to replace the words of the problem with an equation and solve for the missing value. So what percent is x over 100? Of means times. The whole is means equals the part. So for today's lesson, we're going to learn how to find the percent. So our first example says, what percent of 80 is 20? Well, if we're going to go the equation method, what percent, x over 100, of times 80 is equals 20. This is how you set it up for finding a percent. Okay? You with me here? Now, some people are going to set it up like this, and I will accept it. There's just a little bit of a problem with this way. Some people go x percent of 80, and I'm sorry, of means multiply, is 20. There's a little danger with this way, and I'm going to explain the danger now in a second. But let's look at the really good way, which is right here. Okay? How would I solve this? How would I solve this? Guys, remember how to multiply fractions? Okay. No. Remember, this is 80 over 1, right? What's x times 80? 80x. Very good. What's 100 times 1? 100 equals 20 over 1. You guys with me here? Cross multiply. What's 100 times 20? So 80x equals 2,000. Divide by 80. And x will equal okay, let's divide it. We have 80 going into 2,000. 80 goes into 200. How many times? 2 times. Okay. So that is 160. You have 440 left over. Drop down to 0. 80 goes into 400. How many times? So my answer is 25%. You have to put the percent sign. Why, Mr. Morrow? Because you're looking for a percent. With this method here, you don't have to worry about anything except remember to put the percent. You guys with me here? Now, some people are going to say, oh, no, I don't like that, too much math. I want to go this way. Okay, no worries. X% of 80 is 20. How do I get rid of multiplication? How do I get rid of this 80 here? You divide by 80 to both sides. Hopefully you guys will realize that 20 over 80 is 1/4, which is 0.25, but let's pretend you don't see that. 80 into 20, 0.0. 80 goes into 200 2 times. Drop down to 0. 80 goes into 400 5 times. So x% equals 0.25. Now, here's the danger with doing it this way. It's not a big deal. Thank you, my brother. You have to move the decimal. A lot of people do like it this way in blue. The only danger doing it here is you're going to forget to move the decimal sometimes. How do you remember? Remember that we're looking for a percent. So I have to move the decimal 2 places to the right. So x equals 25%. I really don't mind which way you do it, the red or the blue. Does not matter to me. It's up to you. But definitely, the red way, you have nothing to remember. You don't have to move the decimal ever in that one. The blue method, it's a little bit less math, but you have to remember to move the decimal. If not, you will get it wrong. Proportion method. Remember, for the proportion method, you replace the words of the problem with a proportion and solve for the missing value. So here I have n over 100. Remember that n is the given percent. Equals is, which is the part, over of, which is the whole, and n is the given percent. So let's do this exact same problem, but using the proportion method. If we do this problem using the proportion method, we have what percent, so n over 100, because we don't know the percent, equals is. What's the is part here? What's the is? 20. Over of, what's the of? 80. Same thing here. You can cross multiply, which would be 80 times n, which is 80n, equals 2,000. divided by 80, which we already know will be 25%. The good thing about the proportion method also is you don't have to remember to move the decimal. So it really depends on you. This is all about you. What you are comfortable with, what you like, what you enjoy. Yeah, some people find this easier, my brother. Some people find the equation method easier. It really depends on you. Me personally, I like the proportion method. But that's me. That's not you. You don't have to do what I do. I like the proportion method, but that's me. Okay? You have a question, my man? Okay. All right. Let's do some more examples. What percent of 8 is 3? Let's do it both ways. Let's do it the equation method, and let's do it the proportion method. So what percent, so let's go x percent times 8 is equals 3. If I divide 8 to both sides, I've got x percent equals 3/8. Does anyone remember what 3/8 means? What it turns into? 0.375. Fantastic. Bless you. For those of you who remember to learn what I told you to learn, you're going to be fine. For those of you who don't, you're going to have to divide, and it's going to take you time. This is 3, which is 24. You've got the 6. That goes in 7 times, which is 56. You've got the 40. So that's 0.375. Now, am I done here? No, because I have this percent here, right? So I got to move it to the right 2 places. X equals 37.5%. If you memorize the fractions that I told you to memorize, the conversions to decimals, your life is going to be very simple. If you don't, it's just going to take a little longer.
So you need a decimal for that? I got 375.
Okay, it's 0.375, but then I have to turn to a percent. So I got to go 1, 2 to the right, which is 37.5%. That's why I like sometimes doing the proportion method. The proportion method, you don't have to worry about moving the decimal. What percent, enter x over 100, equals is over of. Cross multiply. 8n equals 300. Divide by 8 to both sides. 8 goes into 300. That goes 3 times. That's 24. You've got 60 left over. That's 7, which is 56. I need to bring up my decimal. Drop down to 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So n equals 37.5%. It really depends on you guys. I hear some of you saying the equation method's easier. I respect that. I hear some of you saying the proportion method's easier. I respect that. I respect that. Either way, it's up to you. You're the one who has to choose, my brothers. It's your choice. Okay? Let's continue. Find the percent. What percent of 70 is 20? Again, let's do it both ways. Equation method. X percent of 70 is 21. Divide by 70 to both sides. X percent equals 70 into 21. 70 cannot go into 21. So I add a decimal, bring it up, add a 0. 70 goes into 210 though, 3 times. So X percent equals 0.3, but I'm looking for a percent. So what does it really equal?
30%.
Two places to the right, 30%. That's for people who like the equation method. You like the proportion method? No worries. What percent X over 100 equals is over of? Cross multiply. 70x equals 2100. Divide by 70. X equals 70 goes into 2100. That's 3. Drop down to 0. That's 0. 30%. And you do not have to move any decimals. It is completely and totally up to you. Your choice. Does that make sense? Okay? So a couple more examples. Practice makes perfect. What percent of 12 is 24? Okay, let's do the equation method. What percent of means multiply. 12 is means equals 2.4. I'm sorry, not 24. Divide by 12 to both sides. X percent equals 12 on the outside, 2.4 on the inside. Bring up my decimal. 12 goes into 24 two times. So X percent, very good, my man, equals 0.2. But I need to turn into a percent. Two places to the right. X will equal 20%. You want to do it the proportion way? No worries. What percent X over 100 equals is, which is 2.4, over of, which is 12, cross multiply. 12x equals, when I multiply by 100, what do I do to the decimal, guys? I move it to the right. How many places? 2 times. Very good. So that would be 240 divided by 12. X would equal 12 into 240. That goes in 2 times. Drop a 0. 20%. Again, I'm doing it both ways. I want you guys to choose one. Just master one method. If you want to master both methods, God bless you. That's even better. But master one method for sure. Choose one that you love and master it. You with me here? Okay. What percent of, whoa, hold on, wait a second. I messed up here. Well, this is, this one, we'll change this one up. I messed up there. What percent of 90 is 54? Okay. Percent, equation way. What percent of 90 is 54? Divide by 90. X percent equals 90 into 54. So I have a decimal here at the end. Very good, my brother. 90 goes into 540 6 times. So X percent equals 0.6. So I got to turn to a percent though. X percent equals 60%. Because I go from decimal to percent by moving the decimal 2 places to the right. Proportion method. What percent X over 100 equals is over of. Cross multiply. 90x equals 54 times 100. I move the decimal to the right 2 places. That'd be 5,400. Excellent. Divide by 90. And x will equal 90 into 5,400. That is a 6 there. 0, 60 per cent. Does that make sense, gentlemen? You promise. Are there any questions, my brothers? Awesome. Thank you very much. Don't worry about this guy right here. That's what we're learning in the next lesson. Thank you very much. Hope you learned a lot. Have a wonderful day.